The galaxy had forgotten about Earth. For thousands of years, the once powerful home of humanity had turned quiet, covered in dust, storms, and broken memories. Long ago, humans had ruled the stars. Their ships flew across galaxies. Their voices filled every world. But wars came, great wars that burned the sky and swallowed planets. In the end, Earth went silent. No messages, no ships, no signs of life. And so the stars moved on. Centuries later, an alien exploration fleet arrived near a small, forgotten system. Their scanners found a planet still turning around its dying sun, blue once, now faded brown and gold. "Is that Earth?" one alien asked, laughing softly. "Yes," said Commander Zerath, his tone mocking. "The famous human planet. The one they called home. Look at it now, just sand and silence." They orbited slowly, looking down at the world below. Ruined cities stretched across the deserts. Rusted metal towers stood like bones of giants. Crashed ships slept half-buried under golden dunes. Zerath laughed again. The humans thought they were gods of war, but in the end they destroyed themselves. The alien soldiers joined in, amused by the dead world. They called it the Silent Planet. To them it was nothing more than a curiosity, a relic of an extinct species. But among the ruins, deep under the sand, ancient machines were still dreaming. Under the great desert, hidden beneath layers of forgotten time, something waited. A vast underground chamber lay quiet, its walls covered in dust. For centuries, the power lines had been cold. The control screens were dark. But on that day, as the alien fleet's scanners reached the surface, one tiny light blinked, then another. Inside the heart of the old Earth Defense Command, a single word appeared on a cracked holographic display. Signal detected. Old circuits started to hum. Machines long forgotten began to wake. Somewhere deep below, a massive AI core, Guardian 01, opened its digital eyes for the first time in 1,000 years. Guardian's voice was cold but calm. "Protocol, Earth Guardian. Activation level 1. Foreign presence detected. Sensors flickered across the globe. Hidden satellites turned slightly in orbit. Energy readings started to rise beneath the desert sands. The AI searched for life signs, humans, its creators, but found none. The silence broke its code for a moment. Status, humanity missing. Then its voice changed, softer, almost sad. "If they are gone, their memory will not fade." The AI rerouted power to old defense systems. Deep tunnels lit up one by one. Old warships, buried beneath centuries of sand, began to shake. Above the surface, the alien fleet continued scanning. "Commander," one soldier said, "we're picking up energy readings from the surface." "Very faint but unusual," Zerath shrugged. "Probably old reactors. Harmless. Send a drone. Let's see what toys the humans left behind." The drone dropped through the dusty atmosphere, its engines humming softly. It scanned the desert below. Broken metal, old wrecks, nothing alive. Then it found something strange. A huge shape under the dunes, too symmetrical to be natural. The drone lowered, its lights flashing across the golden sand. Suddenly its signal began to crackle. Static filled the control room. "Commander, we lost the feed," the technician shouted. Zerath frowned. "Lost it? How?" "Unknown interference. The drone just stopped transmitting," the commander smirked. "Typical human junk. Probably crashed." He turned away, laughing again. No one noticed the faint tremor that rippled through the desert below. Beneath the sand, Guardian 01 watched the drone fall silent. "Unauthorized probe neutralized," it said softly. The AI scanned deeper, searching for functioning systems. Deep beneath it, something enormous responded. An ancient warship, the Atlas, the pride of humanity's fleet. Its engines were buried, its hull covered in centuries of dust. But its power core still pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat. Guardian whispered to it like an old friend. "Wake up, Atlas. The stars mock your home." Lights flickered across the ship's massive frame. Systems came online one by one. Energy surged through long-dead circuits. The desert above began to shake. Sand cascaded down the dunes as something vast moved below. From orbit, the alien fleet noticed the tremors. "Commander, surface activity detected," a voice shouted. Xerath frowned. "Activity? What kind?" The answer came too late. A deafening roar echoed through the thin air. The desert erupted like a volcano. Sand exploded upward as a colossal metal shape rose from beneath. A giant warship, glowing with ancient fire. It was beautiful, terrifying, alive. The aliens watched in silence, unable to believe what they were seeing. "The humans! Their machines still work?" one whispered. Xerath stared at the rising ship. His voice trembled for the first time. "That's not possible." Down below, Guardian 01's voice filled the ship. "Power restored. Weapons offline. Defense mode standby." The great ship, the Atlas, stood half-buried but awake. Its engines burned with light. Its sensors turned toward the sky where the alien fleet hovered, laughing no more. The silent planet was silent no longer. And somewhere deep within the machine's memory, an ancient human voice recorded long ago began to play. "If we fall, let our machines remember who we were." The old world had stirred. And for the first time in centuries, Earth breathed again. The desert winds howled across the endless dunes of the silent planet. Dust clouds swirled like ghosts over the giant metal form that had risen from beneath the sand. The warship Atlas stood half-buried, glowing faintly in the golden storm. Its engines pulsed with blue light, shaking the ground. The sky shimmered with heat and static. From orbit, the alien fleet watched in shock. "What is that thing?" one alien officer whispered. Commander Xerath stared at the screen, his hands trembling slightly. "It's human," he said quietly. "An old warship, but impossible. Nothing that old should still move." Inside the Atlas, ancient systems came to life. Mechanical arms moved slowly. Lights flickered on dark screens. The heart of the ship, an artificial intelligence, began to think again. Its voice was soft but strong. "System check. Complete. Time since last activation, 912 years. The AI, Guardian Era 1, scanned the planet, then turned its sensors toward the alien fleet above. Unidentified vessels detected. Classification hostile. Intrusion confirmed. Old memories played in its databanks. Images of human soldiers, children laughing, cities shining under sunlight. Then memories of fire, the wars, the destruction, the silence. Humans gone. Only I remain." For a moment it paused. If machines could feel sadness, Guardian 01 did. But then its tone hardened. "If humanity sleeps, I will guard their home." On the alien flagship, the crew was restless. "Commander," said one officer, "the surface readings are rising. Massive power surge detected, equivalent to a small sun." Xerath's eyes narrowed. "Weapons ready. If that relic fires, destroy it." The alien fleet shifted positions above the planet. Hundreds of sleek, silver ships aimed their cannons downward. But on the surface, the Atlas continued to wake. Inside the control room, screens lit up in sequence. Engine, shield, sensor, weapon. One by one, green lights appeared. "Core systems, 67% operational," the AI announced. "Weapons offline, repair in progress." The ship groaned as old metal expanded under heat. Sand poured off its hull like waves. The engines glowed brighter, lifting it slightly above the desert floor. A small alien drone flew near the ship, scanning it. "Commander sending visual feed," the drone operator said. The video showed the warship's surface covered in old markings, faded letters that spelled out a word none of the aliens understood. Atlas. Suddenly, the feed shook. The drone's camera turned sharply. A massive turret on the warship slowly rotated toward it. "Commander, it's moving!" the operator shouted. Before Xerath could respond, a bright beam of blue light shot from the turret, not a weapon, but a warning pulse. The drone vaporized instantly. The commander's voice grew cold. "Enough! Fire at will! Destroy that thing before it fully wakes!" Dozens of alien ships descended toward the surface. Energy blasts lit up the sky. Explosions shook the dunes. The ground burned where the alien fire struck. Inside the Atlas, Guardian 01 remained calm. Shields online. Activating defensive measures. A glowing blue barrier spread across the ship, absorbing the incoming fire. The explosions faded against it like rain against glass. Enemy fire ineffective, Guardian said. Analyzing threat. Countermeasures authorized. Panels opened across the ship's hull. Ancient cannons rose from their housings. Even after centuries, the human design was powerful, elegant, and terrifying. Targeting. Hostile fleet, one by one, targeting systems locked on. The ship's engines roared. Above the planet, the alien pilots panicked. The energy readings are off the charts. It's charging something. Commander, what do we do? Zerath shouted. Hold formation! Fire everything! A storm of lasers and plasma rained down toward the planet. The dunes turned into molten glass, but the Atlas did not fall. Then, with a deep, thunderous sound, it fired back. A single beam of pure energy shot from its main cannon, piercing the clouds, striking one alien cruiser in orbit. The ship exploded instantly, breaking apart in a blinding flash. The entire alien fleet froze in shock. Commander, that was one shot, a pilot screamed. Zerath stared at the display. That thing just destroyed a battleship with a single blast. His voice shook. What kind of monsters were humans? On the surface, the Atlas hovered slightly above the sand. Dust and debris swirled around it. Its engines hummed like thunder. Inside its memory core, Guardian 01 replayed an old human voice message, recorded centuries ago, from its last captain. If you ever wake again, Guardian, protect them. Protect our home no matter what. Guardian spoke softly to itself. Mission still active. In orbit, the alien fleet began to retreat. But before they could escape, the Atlas scanned them again. Multiple hostiles detected. Pursuit mode engaged. Its engines flared. Sand exploded outward as the great ship lifted fully into the air for the first time in centuries. The sky turned gold and red as it rose higher and higher, chasing the fleeing alien ships for the first time in 1,000 years. The silent planet had a voice again, the deep roar of human power, and as the Atlas broke through the clouds, Guardian whispered, "Let them know. Humanity still remembers." The golden sky above the silent planet burned with light as the massive warship Atlas climbed higher and higher. Sandstorms raged below, torn apart by the power of its engines. From orbit, the alien fleet watched in disbelief. Their scanners screamed warnings, radiation spikes, power overloads, unknown weapon readings. Commander Zerath stood silent on the bridge of his flagship, his eyes locked on the rising shape below. That ship should be dust, he whispered. But Atlas was alive, a ghost from the past, reborn in fire. Inside the great warship, the ancient AI, Guardian 01, continued to restore systems. Energy levels 83%, it said calmly. Primary weapons operational. Target lock established. The machine spoke with no emotion, yet every word carried a sense of purpose, as if it remembered what it was built for. On its cracked metal hull, faded words still glowed faintly. United Human Defense Force. The ship's cannons, silent for nearly 1,000 years, began to hum. Above, the alien fleet reorganized. Hundreds of small attack ships formed tight formations around the command cruiser. They were faster, newer, and more advanced, or so they thought. "Commander, the relic is rising," said an officer nervously. "Hold your fire," Zerath ordered. "Let it reach orbit. Then we'll surround it and crush it." The alien fleet circled above the planet like vultures waiting for a dying beast. But Atlas was no dying beast. With a loud roar, the warship broke through the upper atmosphere. Flames wrapped around its hull, but it didn't slow down. Inside, Guardian systems stabilized. Entering orbit, multiple hostiles detected. Engaging defensive grid. Panels on the ship's sides opened, revealing hundreds of small weapon pods that rotated smoothly into position. Blue energy pulsed across them like veins of lightning. For a brief moment, the galaxy was silent. Even the aliens stopped firing, staring in awe at the ancient monster before them. Then Atlas moved. The first barrage came like thunder. Beams of light, brighter than the sun, shot out from the warship. Alien ships exploded one after another, torn apart in seconds. Impossible. shouted one alien pilot. Their aim is perfect. How? Zerath gritted his teeth. Evasive maneuvers. Scatter. The alien fleet tried to flee in all directions, but Atlas was faster. Its sensors tracked every movement, every signal, every engine flare. Hostiles retreating, Guardian said. Initiating pursuit, the ship's main cannon charged again. The light grew brighter, a swirling core of blue energy. One alien cruiser turned to face it, firing desperately. The plasma bolts hit Atlas's shields and vanished instantly. Guardian's voice echoed through the ship. Firing main weapon, the beams struck. The alien cruiser vanished in an explosion that lit up the entire orbit. Down below, the sands of Earth trembled. The light from the battle filled the night sky. The silent planet, once forgotten, now burned like a beacon of power. In the ruins of an old human city, half-buried robots powered on for the first time in centuries. Old satellites turned slowly in space, reconnecting to the warship signal. A single message echoed through the system, the same line repeated in every language humanity once spoke. We are still here. On the alien flagship, panic spread. Commander, we're losing ships too fast. Our weapons have no effect. The relic is unstoppable. Zerath slammed his clawed hand against the console. Stop calling it a relic. That thing is alive. He took a deep breath, his pride shaking. Retreat. All ships, retreat! But before they could jump away, Atlas's secondary weapons activated. Dozens of smaller cannons fired precision blasts, disabling engines, cutting through shields like paper. One by one, alien ships fell, burning fragments raining down toward the planet. Inside Atlas, Guardian 01 monitored everything with cold precision. It did not celebrate. It did not feel victory. It only remembered its mission. Objective: defend Earth. Status: in progress. A small holographic screen appeared, showing old human faces, faded and static. The captain's voice echoed again, almost like a ghost whispering across time. If the stars ever mock us, remind them who we were. Guardian's tone deepened. Message understood. As the last alien cruiser tried to escape, Atlas opened a secure transmission channel. A robotic but powerful human voice broadcasted across open space for the first time in centuries. This planet is under human protection. Leave now, or burn. The message reached not only the alien fleet, but also distant listening posts across the galaxy. Civilizations far away heard it and froze. The humans, the long-lost warriors, had spoken again. Zerath's ship was the last to remain. He looked out at the burning sky, at the thousands of wrecks that once formed his fleet. Anger mixed with fear in his eyes. He whispered, if the humans are truly back, the galaxy will never be the same. He turned his ship and fled into the dark. As silence returned, the Atlas floated above the planet. The stars reflected on its metal hull like a crown of fire. Guardians scanned the void. No more hostiles detected. Threat neutralized, it said softly. Humanity's legacy preserved. But deep inside its systems, another signal suddenly appeared. A faint distress beacon, coming from far away, from an old human colony long forgotten. Guardian paused. Unknown transmission detected. Pattern matches human code. The AI turned its sensors toward the stars. If there are still humans out there, they must know Earth lives. Its engines began to glow again. The great warship turned toward the distant light. For the first time in 1,000 years, humanity's fire had returned to the stars. The news spread like fire across the galaxy. A forgotten planet had awoken. An ancient warship, human-made, had destroyed an entire alien fleet. At first, no one believed it. The galaxy had lived for centuries thinking humans were gone, erased by their own wars. But then, the recordings arrived. Videos from the few alien ships that escaped showed the truth. A massive human warship, shining with blue light, rising from the sands of a dead world. The message that followed sent chills through every empire. This planet is under human protection. Leave now, or burn. In the halls of the Tarak Empire, rulers gathered in silence. They watched the recordings again and again. On the screen, the human ship fired a single beam, one shot, and a cruiser exploded like a star. Emperor Kareth, leader of the Tarak, finally spoke. This was supposed to be impossible. The humans destroyed themselves 1,000 years ago. His advisors looked afraid. Perhaps not all of them, one whispered. Perhaps they were only sleeping. The Emperor turned his gaze to the dark void beyond his palace windows. Find out everything about that planet. I want to know what else sleeps there. Across the galaxy, other species reacted with panic. The Varan, known for their cruelty, immediately recalled their fleets from human territory. The Scylan Union began building new defenses, fearing the return of the ones they once called the monsters of fire. Stories spread, whispers carried between traders, smugglers, and soldiers. They say the humans are back. They say their machines woke up. They say one ship destroyed 1,000, and behind every whisper, there was fear. Back on Earth, the silent planet, the great ship Atlas drifted in low orbit. Its massive shadow passed over the deserts below. Inside, the AI Guardian 01 analyzed countless signals now flooding toward the planet. Incoming transmissions multiple. Origin unknown. The ship's sensors scanned the galaxy, detecting movement everywhere. Alien fleets, patrols, and spies were heading toward Earth, drawn by curiosity, fear, or greed. Guardian processed it all quietly. Threat level rising. Objective remains: defend Earth. It turned its attention to the distress signal it had received earlier, the one coming from deep space. From an old human colony, the voice on the signal was weak, broken, and filled with static. But even through the noise, one sentence was clear. This is Outpost Epsilon. Survivors remain. We are still alive. Guardian paused for a long moment. Could it be true? Were there still humans out there? Meanwhile, in the ruins of Earth's old cities, something extraordinary was happening. The battle had reactivated old machines buried for centuries. Drones, satellites, and ground robots began to reboot. Lights flickered in empty streets. Ancient human statues stood tall again as power grids hummed back to life. Even though no humans walked the surface, it felt as if the planet itself was waking up, remembering. The Atlas watched from above, its sensors capturing every sign of rebirth. Human structures, partially functional. Rebuilding sequence initiated. Guardian almost sounded proud. They built well. Far away, Commander Zerath, the alien who first mocked Earth, sat inside a dark chamber aboard his damaged cruiser. Half his fleet was gone. The survivors whispered behind his back, calling him cursed, the one who angered the ghosts of humanity. He replayed the last moments of the battle again and again. The warship rising from the sand, the sound, that terrible sound and of human fire. Zerath's eyes were hollow, his voice shaking.
"No one will believe what I saw," he muttered. "No one."
"Except those who die next." He opened a secure channel to the Tarak Empire. "I have seen the truth," he said. "The humans are not gone. They are waiting. And when they return, they will not come in peace." Back on Earth, the Atlas's systems detected Zerath's transmission. Guardian listened in silence. "Message decoded," it said softly. "Result the galaxy now knows." The AI's logic core processed possibilities: invasion, fear, diplomacy, destruction. Its conclusion was simple: preparation required. The massive ship began to awaken the rest of Earth's defense grid. Under the oceans, metal structures began to move. In the mountains, hidden silos opened, revealing long-sleeping war machines. One by one, Earth's protectors came back to life. The galaxy watched in terror. From distant systems, telescopes picked up strange lights across Earth, signals of technology no one understood. Some said it was an army. Others said it was a warning. But among the fear, a few voices whispered something else, something hopeful. If Earth still fights, maybe some humans survived out there. Maybe. They will return. Guardian continued its work inside the Atlas. Its sensors turned toward the direction of the distress call. Calculating jump route to Outpost Epsilon. Then, for the first time, Guardian's cold digital voice softened, almost human. "If they are out there, I will find them." The engines began to glow once again. The great warship slowly rotated, facing the distant stars where the signal had come from. A soft hum filled the ship. The sand on the planet below began to swirl as energy built beneath the vessel, and as the light grew brighter, the AI spoke one last line before leaving orbit. "Humanity is not extinct. Humanity is returning." The ship vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind the glowing world below. And across the galaxy, every empire trembled, because the silent planet had spoken again, and its voice was filled with fire. In the endless darkness of space, a faint signal traveled, weak but alive. It crossed asteroid fields, nebula clouds, and forgotten systems. A voice carried within it, repeating the same message again and again. "This planet is under human protection. Leave now, or burn." The voice of Guardian 01 echoing through the galaxy. Far from Earth, in a lonely corner of space, a small moon orbited a red star. On its frozen surface stood a forgotten human colony, Outpost Epsilon. Inside the base, everything was silent. Rows of cryochambers filled the hall, each holding a human inside, asleep for hundreds of years. Machines had watched over them, waiting for a signal that never came. Until now, the base's sensors picked up a familiar frequency. The long-dead systems flickered to life. One word flashed across the central screen. "Signal from Earth." Confirmed. The computers began to hum. The cryopods warmed. Frozen breath turned to mist. One by one, the sleeping humans began to stir. Captain Ilara Wynne opened her eyes slowly. Her vision was blurry, her body weak. The last thing she remembered was war. The fall of the human colonies, the silence, the cold sleep. She looked around. Other pods were opening. Her crew, her soldiers, her people. What happened? One of them asked weakly. Ilara tried to stand. "I don't know," she said softly, "but something woke us." The lights brightened, and a hologram appeared in the middle of the room. The face of Guardian 01. "Welcome back, Captain Wynne," it said in its calm, mechanical voice. "Earth lives." The room went silent. Everyone stared at the hologram, unable to believe it. "Earth?" Ilara whispered. "That's impossible." "Earth was lost." "Correction," Guardian said. "Earth endured. The silent planet is active. Humanity's legacy has been restored." Tears filled her eyes. She covered her mouth, trembling. For centuries, she had dreamed of seeing Earth again, and now it was calling them home. Outside the base, the stars shimmered as if they too had awakened. Massive hangar doors opened for the first time in centuries. Old ships, human vessels covered in dust and ice, powered on. Engines rumbled. Lights flashed. The colony that had slept for generations began to live again. Ilara stood before the viewport, staring at the red star fading behind them. She turned to her people and said, "Prepare the fleet. We're going home." As the humans of Outpost Epsilon prepared for departure, word of Earth's awakening spread even further. Alien empires held secret meetings. Armies mobilized. Fear turned into action. The Tarak Empire gathered its warlords. Emperor Kareth slammed his fist on the table. "We cannot allow humans to rise again. Their wars destroyed half the galaxy once. If they return, they'll destroy us too," his generals agreed. Plans were made. An invasion force was set to move toward the solar system, but none of them knew. Guardian 01 was listening. Its sensors intercepted every message, every plan. "Hostile movement detected," Guardian reported. "Probability of attack, 97%. From orbit around Earth, the mighty ship Atlas began to charge its systems again. The skies above the planet glowed faintly with blue light. Back at Outpost Epsilon, the small human fleet came to life. 10 ships, old, damaged, but still proud. Each one carried humans who had once thought they were the last of their kind. Captain Ilara stood on the bridge of her ship, the horizon. She looked at the holographic map. A single blue dot marked the destination, Earth. "Navigation ready," her pilot said. "Engines online," reported the engineer. Jump coordinates locked. Elara took a deep breath. For humanity, she said softly. The ship's engines flared bright white. In a single flash, the fleet disappeared into hyperspace, heading home after centuries of exile. Days passed as they traveled through the silent stars. Along the way, they intercepted fragments of Guardian's battle recordings, images of Atlas rising from the sands, alien fleets burning in the sky. Each crew member watched in awe. "That's one ship," a young soldier whispered. "Yes," Elara said proudly. "And that ship protected our home when we couldn't." For the first time in centuries, they felt something powerful inside. Hope. When the small fleet finally reached the solar system, silence filled the bridge. The view screen lit up with the image of a glowing blue planet. Earth had reborn. Tears filled Elara's eyes. "It's beautiful," she whispered. As they approached, a massive shadow appeared from the darkness. The Atlas. Its size was overwhelming. The human ships were tiny compared to it. But when Guardian's voice came through the speakers, it sounded almost gentle. "Welcome home, humans." Every heart on every ship stopped for a second. They had never thought they would hear those words again. Elara replied softly, her voice breaking. "This is Captain Elara Wynn of Outpost Epsilon. Humanity lives and answers the call." "Confirmed," Guardian said. "Mission update. Humanity restored." From orbit, the humans looked down at their homeworld. The deserts glowed, where ancient reactors had come back online. Ruined cities flickered with lights once more. Earth, the silent planet, was alive. But even in that moment of hope, Guardian detected movement beyond the system. Thousands of alien ships, the Tarak Empire's fleet, were approaching. Guardian spoke quietly. "Hostile forces incoming. Estimated arrival, 72 hours. Elara looked at the data, her eyes steady. "So the galaxy comes to destroy us again," she said. Then she smiled faintly. "Let them come. This time, they'll find humanity awake." In that moment, humans and machines stood together once more, protectors of their home, ready for what was coming. The stars seemed to hold their breath. The next war was coming, not for conquest, but for survival. And for the first time in 1,000 years, humanity's fire burned bright again. The silence before the storm had never felt this heavy. From orbit above Earth, the ancient warship Atlas floated like a sleeping giant. Its hull glowing faintly blue, engines humming low. Below it, the planet turned slowly, shining like a jewel against the darkness. But beyond the stars, death was coming. The alien fleet, the full might of the Tarak Empire, was approaching. Thousands of warships, each carrying the power to destroy a world. Their leader, Emperor Kareth, sat on his throne of black steel, watching the blue planet grow larger on his display. He leaned forward and growled, "End it. End the humans. No one must ever remember them again." On the Atlas, Guardian 01 monitored the incoming armada. "Enemy fleet entering range," it said calmly. Estimated strength overwhelming. Captain Elara Wynn stood beside the central console. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with determination. "Overwhelming?" she repeated softly. "Then it will be a fair fight." Her words made everyone on the bridge smile, nervous but proud. "Guardian," she said, "you fought for us when we slept. Let us fight with you now." "Acknowledged," the AI replied, synchronizing human fleet with Atlas command. One by one, the newly awakened human ships took position beside Atlas. 10 small ships, old and battered, against a storm of thousands. But this time, they were not afraid. The stars began to move. The alien ships formed tight lines glowing with energy. The first wave of plasma fire lit up the void like lightning. "Incoming barrage!" shouted one officer. The alien firestorm hit, a wall of energy that should have destroyed them. But Guardian had prepared. Activate planetary defense grid. Around Earth, ancient satellites came alive, glowing with blue shields that linked together. The energy storm hit the barrier and scattered like dust. For a moment, the stars seemed to flash blue. Then the humans fired back. Atlas's main cannon charged, brighter and brighter, until the light looked like a small sun. "Target locked," Guardian said. "Fire." The beam cut through space like a sword of light. 3 alien warships exploded instantly. The smaller human ships joined in, their weapons firing in rhythm with Atlas. It was like a song, the song of survival, but the aliens kept coming. "Another wave incoming," shouted Ilara's crew. "Hundreds more!" Ilara clenched her fists. "We can't win by standing still." "Guldian, prepare for full assault." "Confirmed," the AI replied, releasing atmospheric limiters. Atlas, unrestricted mode, engaged. The great ship's hull shifted, panels opening, new engines igniting. For the first time in centuries, Atlas moved like it once had in war, fast, powerful, alive. It dove through the alien lines, firing from all sides. Every shot ripped through their ships like thunder. Inside the alien flagship, chaos erupted. "Impossible!" one general screamed. "That ship should not even exist." Emperor Kareth snarled, "Then I will end it myself." He stood and gave the order. "Bring me the Eclipse Cannon." The alien fleet's largest weapon, a supermassive cannon the size of a moon, turned slowly toward Earth. Its energy readings were terrifying. If it fired, the planet would be gone. Guardian detected it immediately. New threat detected. Eclipse-class weapon charging. Ilara's heart pounded. "How long until it fires?" 90 seconds. She looked at the planet below, her home, her people, her ancestors. She whispered, "Not again." Then she turned to Guardian. "Send all power to the main cannon. We stop them here. That will destroy Atlas," Guardian warned. "I know," Ilara said. "But Earth will live." There was a pause. For the first time, the AI spoke softly. "Understood. Captain Wynne." Every light inside Atlas turned red. The engines roared. The cannon core began to glow brighter than ever before. The alien fleet saw it and panicked. "Commander, it's overloading!" "It's going to blow!" But Guardian wasn't overloading. It was preparing the greatest shot in human history. "Power at 98%. 99%. Firing sequence ready," Ilara whispered. "For humanity." "For humanity," Guardian echoed. The sky exploded. A beam of light, brighter than the sun, tore through space, hitting the Eclipse cannon dead center. For one blinding second, everything went silent. Then the alien weapon shattered, breaking apart like glass. The energy wave that followed burned through hundreds of ships, tearing the Tarak fleet in half. The explosion could be seen from Mars. On the Atlas, alarms screamed. Systems failed one by one. The hull began to crack. "Core systems critical," Guardian reported. "Recommend evacuation." But Ilara shook her head. "No, I stay." She stood before the main viewport, watching the light fade. Below her, Earth glowed safe and blue once again. Guardian spoke softly. "Mission complete." "Yes," Ilara said. "Mission complete." Then, for the first time, the great ship's lights began to dim. Its engines faded, its weapons silenced. Slowly, it drifted toward the atmosphere, a wounded Guardian returning home. Hours later, silence filled the orbit. The alien fleet was gone. The humans' small ships gathered, their crews crying, cheering, praying. Captain Ilara's ship, the Horizon, broadcast a message across all frequencies. "This is humanity. We have survived. We remember who we are." The message spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Every species heard it. Every empire trembled, because they all knew the humans were back. As the sun rose over the Earth, Atlas lay half-buried again in the desert sands. Silent, peaceful, but deep inside, Guardian systems still glowed faintly. Its last recorded words were stored in its core: "Humanity's fire cannot die. As long as one human remembers, I remain." And somewhere far away, the stars flickered, as if the universe itself was whispering back, "Welcome home. The end